Hello, I'm Chema Cabrero, and I'm in charge of the modeling department for military vehicles at Vallejo. In today's video, we are going to show the painting process and the use of scenery references on two bases. We will start by applying washes in the form of a filter. Filters are quick drying and provide a wide variety of color tones. We will use a green shade. We apply it in the areas where there would be more accumulated humidity. We can apply new layers, creating a more intense and saturated effect. We will now use a new shade, dark khaki green. We will apply it on the trunks and their bark. To add depth and shadow effects, we will use the reference Oiled Earth. As the layers overlap, the transparency gives us interesting nuances. Details such as lichen on the rock are represented using the reference weathering effects, moss and lichen. This effect has a very characteristic pattern. We will now use a model air reference to represent dry wood. We will focus on the upper areas, far from the wet bottom places and exposed to the sun. All these details add more and more realism to the model. Once the base dries, we will choose the most suitable scenery references for its tones. For tall grass, we will use the Autumn Wild Tuft reference. We will use tweezers to separate the product from its support and place it on the base. A lancet can be really helpful to ensure its adherence and give it a natural appearance. The product includes an adhesive support at its base. We will look for a distribution as natural as possible. We will avoid symmetries, looking for a balanced and logical aspect. We will now use the reference Wild Dark Moss. Its tones and texture complement each other harmonically with the previous reference of tall grass. Again, we will evaluate the distribution of the moss, creating logical zones with its location. The final result must be natural and balanced. We are now working on an urban base, showing effects on an aged wall. We will start working with washes, creating an aspect of humidity on the ground and the lower part of the wall. Model washes have flow and transparency properties that provide a great variety of tones and interesting shades. We now paint some bricks in a lighter shade, bringing greater interest to the model surface. We will apply a dark khaki green wash, integrating the previous tones without losing its chromatic variety. Now again, we will use a dark tone to create depth and shadow effects. The final result is realistic and well-balanced. To create a wet environment, we will use the reference of tall grass and fresh green tone. Its self-adhesive base allows us to place it on the model surface directly. A lancet will be of great help to give it a natural appearance. We will use a new reference that makes a balanced combination with the previous one. The irregular and natural distribution brings greater interest to the base. The reference includes designs with several sizes and shapes for an easy and assorted finish. Our base is all finished. Our projects are ready to locate some figures. We hope you liked the video. If you have any questions, you can leave them in the comments section.